of the first women, though, doing effects makeup?
That I knew, because I didn't really know.
Or am I missing? I mean,
well, there weren't a lot of women in the shops, for sure, yeah.
But in the shops, no, not too many. There was some, but, or they were either fabricators like sewers, or, you know, did hair work, or they did, you know, they made the suits or something. But as far as like painting, and, because I don't know a lot about everything else, but anything that came out of a mold, that got handed to me.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think there were
as
less
many girls?
Yeah.
Well, I think first of all, I mean that whole monster thing that got a lot of us into it is kind of a guy thing.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's a nerdy guy that can't get laid, that's in his bedroom listening to music.
Who doesn't do sports.
Doesn't do sports, has nothing better to do than to make monsters.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a lot of the girls fell into it more than were that driving force into this makeup effects world. Like, you know, Barry Berman is one of those who she was the fine art world, and then kind of met Tom and got into that whole universe. But like her background is fine art and realism and anatomy and all that. And it was kind of a similar thing when I met her. It was like, oh, it's really cool. It's kind of similar because I never got into this for the horror genre of it. I got into it for making characters and
Get Out.
But me too. Yeah, I don't really like the slasher thing.
That wasn't a big thing for me. Yeah, and I think that's probably similar. That tends to be kind of a trend with a lot of the women in the industry. I think they kind of were from a different background and then kind of found their way into that. You know, it seems that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of become really hip. Is it because the times have changed? Is it because of all
the schools like they're kind of playing on the popularity of all that,
for sure,
and bringing in people to come in and do it. But everyone's young now, so now there really isn't like only the guys or only the girls. It's everybody. They're all like.
In fact, I think there's more women now that are trying to get into the industry than men. I mean, 90% of the people that I see resumes from and wanting to work are women, predominantly more than men.
Does music play a big part in your guys' lives, in your art or your work?
Every time we have somebody come in for a headcast, we always ask them, you know, what kind of music do you want to listen to? And we play music for them. And anytime anybody wants to listen to something that's a little bit more upbeat, I feel like we're just going through it. And that headcast is done like this, as opposed to like, well, I'd like to have some classical. We're just like real methodically putting these pieces on, and it takes like double the amount of time.
When I was working with Dick Smith, he was only classical music. And that's what he would listen to all the time. And it was just like, oh God, it was just like putting me to sleep. You know, I like classical music, but it's not. It doesn't make me like go like this. You know, it's like,
if you need the speed, you got to have something.
The hardest part is when you're doing a makeup and the actor wants to listen to something awful that you don't like, especially really like a method actor who's like, I have to hear the same song every day on repeat over and over and over. I think it was, and I'm going to tell tales here, I don't give a shit. Mickey Rourke, I was doing Mickey Rourke for Sin City, and he had to hear the Johnny Cash, he covered a 9 Inch Nails song.
Oh, yeah.
Hurt.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Not every
but
day,
I learned to hate it because it was every day for the entire shoot, on repeat, over and over and over again. And I was like, oh, you're...
When I took over Jim Carrey for 5 days on The Grinch, because Kazu needed a break.
Why did Kazu need a break, Bart?
He needed a break because Jim, I guess, well, anyway, that's a different story. But he had his Best of the Bee Gees that he would listen to every morning.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah, and not Kazu. And I think that was one of the problems. But I think he was using that as a marker that he would be like, all right, I'm into staying alive or whatever, and you're not done gluing this thing on me yet. Okay. So I think he was pacing the application by the album that Kazu was always painting by the time we got to.
That makes sense.
I don't know any other Bee Gees songs, but anyway.
But it's funny how music, like you're saying, the trailer, an actor, or like the other makeup guys will play some music, and it becomes that like a little time capsule thing. Like when I hear certain songs, it reminds me of working on Men in Black, for example. I was working with David Anderson and listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers. What's it called? Not Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
Sex, Milk, and something.
Or whatever that was, album is, which is a great album.
Yeah.
And but it just makes me think of Men in Black.
Last time I was on set, I was underneath a table that was rigged for this body that we'd built. And I had, you know, my little bloodline under there, and I had these bamboo pieces that we were supposed to shove up through this body. And it was at a ranch, like 3 in the morning, and they had all these lights on us, and there were moths that were like the size of my hand that were flying around. And so I'm, you know, putting these things through, and I got a guy next to me, and it's a tiny table, and I'm big, and I'm under there, and I can't maneuver, and I'm covered in fake blood. And every time these moths came over, they would get stuck to me in the fake blood. And I hate moths. Like, I've got a moth phobia.
What do you got against moths?
They're furry, and I don't like it. I don't like furry creatures flying at me. So, yeah, that was my last experience. I had moths stuck to me with, you know, sticky syrup blood at 3 in the morning underneath this table. I'm like, why am I doing this shit? This is for me not to be. I should be in the shop building this stuff and having people that are better with this than I am.
You have a story?
Paul Verhoeven blinded.
Oh yeah, how did you almost blind Paul?
Well,
Verhoeven?
I didn't. I don't think I can take the blame for that. We're lining up the shot at the end of the movie where
Which movie?
RoboCop.
Okay.
Peter Weller pops the spike and stabs Clarence in the the neck, so he's all buried in the rubble, and we have the it's a dummy hand with a cable mechanism that you would trigger the fingers to go down, and the spike. It would all kind of happen in the same action. And I don't know whoever built it. It was built in the shop, but for some reason, as you would handle it, the things would start loosening up, and it would get sloppy. So it would just go off by itself. So I'm there with it just sitting, the controller just sitting in my hand, like, you know, just holding it. And Paul's, you know, lining up the shot. So he's like, you know, hand me the hand. And, you know, he's trying to figure out where he needs it in the frame. And then I guess he pulled on it and it like stretched the cables or something but triggered it. And the thing goes off and it's just like, and it was just like about like that far from, and then he just kind of like looks over at me and I'm just like, you know, I'm just holding it like this. I didn't do nothing.
On Click, we had overweight makeup on Adam Sandler, who's basically a little kid. You know, it's part of his charm, I think. You know, we were filming nights, and the makeup broke for lunch. Billy Corso was putting his makeup on, and I come in for after lunch touch-ups to see how it's going. Adam comes in with, you know, it was a big wraparound piece and with a chin.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, comes in without a chin, first of all, with the whole neck collapsed. And I went, what the hell did you do? And he goes, what? And he goes, what happened to your face? And he goes, what? He goes, I just ate lunch, you know. And I went, did you use a fork? Or, you know, I mean, or did you just put your face in a plate? You know, he had spaghetti, and it turned out he'd like somehow ate the chin off. I don't know if he actually ate it. And we were pulling spaghetti out of his neck. I know, I mean, how he got spaghetti in the neck piece, you know, it was totally like all collapsed. But
down
like,
in it.
It was like,
I think we're done. That's a great one. Thank you guys for coming here. Thank you. We are at the Bearded Lady Vintage and Oddities and Mystic Museum, which is a really beautiful place in beautiful downtown Burbank. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Bart. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
And we could go all night. Maybe we'll do this another time and we can really get into the really nasty stuff. But all right. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
And thank you, guys.